Hello, good evening everybody. My name is Jaysick and I am here tonight in my underwear building cages and interiors of cages. I am going to show you all today my new invention that I patented and made. This is going to be for chameleon cages, full screen cages. At this moment we're using a reptibreeze cage as the demonstration cage, but this can be done with any cage. It's just a matter of giving me the interior dimensions of the cage. So I'll begin. What you're looking at, oh, those aren't them. They're over here. Oh, strong little bastards. Okay. So what you're looking at here is one of my cage rods. Okay. As you can see, they're green plastic coated with little nubs on them, so the chameleon's feet have something to grab. Plastic melted coating over there with magnets inside of it and magnets on the outside of it. Now if you're wondering what the hell I have magnets for, I'm going to show you. This is the interior of the Zoom-Ed cage right here. You can see inside of it. I'm a little close with the camera, but I'm sure any chameleon keeper knows that this is a reptibreeze cage. Only myself is here right now. I have no one to hold this camera for me, so we're gonna have to make the best of what we got. I'm just gonna put this right here, put this down for a second while I do some work. Okay, so you can still see what's going on in here. I'll start from the middle here so you can see. Now, what happens here is I put the branch inside the cage. I usually don't like to go below the trap door, because the trap door is the space that I keep open so that I can line it with a bed mat or paper towels so that it's easier to clean. Now this branch is wedged in between this inside of the two screens here. From the outside, I take the magnet that I have here, which I know is hard to see, this super strong neodyme earth magnet. They're very expensive, but they're very powerful. And I slap that onto there. Slapped it onto there, and I slapped them on from the outside, so you can see what I just did. The magnet went on the outside of it, as you can see right there. So I can come over here, and at any given moment I can pull that magnet away. Now the branch is still there. It's there because the cage is also magnetic, and the piece of the black at the end there with the magnet is also magnetic. So you can see from the outside, I come in and it, it's reversed. And now that's on there, okay? So as you can see, I'll come back, the branch goes from left to right in the cage. And you can move this yourself as long as you're, decently strong hand, and move this. Now, you're like, oh, how is the chameleon that's so heavy gonna withstand on a magnet? I've hung 2 gallons of water off of this before, and it stays. As you can see, I'm moving now. It's moving because I'm putting a lot of pressure on it, but it ain't going nowhere. So what I usually do, and my designs would be, I put 3 branches going left to right up front, 3 going in the back from left to right, and once I'm done with that, I'm going to show you how I do this, and you're gonna watch. I don't know how you're gonna watch because nobody's here to film me, but you guys are gonna see it somehow. So I'll put you guys back on my little stand over here. Scary guy, huh? Who's that scary guy with the shaved head and the goatee? Oh, he's the guy that invented chameleon branches. As I said before, they're very strong magnets. You do have to be careful when you're handling these magnets because they will pinch your skin. It is very painful. I've had it happen to me many, many times. Okay. It gets very simple after a while with the magnets. The bonus about all this is that the biggest problem that most people have is trying to figure out where they're going to put, vines in the chameleon cages. And anybody who owns chameleons knows that the hardest thing about it is cleaning your chameleon cage. Well, with this, it makes things so simple for you to clean your chameleon cage. It's just a matter of removing something. You know, most people use thumbtacks and wood. I don't use wood because wood is a guaranteed bacteria breeding ground. And I just don't. You know, common sense. A lot of designing all this stuff and building these things this way, it was all common sense. You know, like what's gonna make it. You know, what's a bacteria breeding ground? What's, you know, how is this gonna happen? How is that gonna happen? You can figure it out. You know, but again, this is all plastic. Inside of it is metal coated. It's all completely sealed, so no water will hit any metal, so there will be absolutely no rust. I will say that the metal inside of this thing right now, inside of these rods, is highly rustable. However, it is plastic coated all over, and it does not. These are actually used for outdoor use, these rods. So it tells you a little something about how good that plastic coating is. It's non-toxic to the animals. Nothing will leach out of it. Nothing will affect the animals. If they lick water that's been on it, nothing will affect them. It's taken me some trial and error to perfect this little shindig that I'm doing here. If you're wondering what that was how my phone tells me that I have an email. It's very nice when I'm sleeping and that goes off. Keeps you on your toes. Okay. So now that all the cross branches have been put in, as you can see here, okay? I think I'll get my flashlight because I don't know why it's so dark in my room. Just because the chameleon lights aren't on. Well, whatever, you can see it. Now all the cross branches are in. And you can see one in the front, one in the back. You know, left to right. They need, you know, to be able to walk from the back to the front. And this is where it gets a little different. Okay? The metal on these magnets will not rust. These magnets, they will not rust. As I mentioned before, all these things are plastic coated. I have them coated at the ends after they're cut so that no water or anything can get into them. But the cool thing about these rods is even with the plastic coating, highly magnetic. Even though there's no magnet in them, the metal inside of these rods is highly magnetic. So, with that said, I'm going to move on to show you what I do next. I'm sorry this is such a horrible video, but I don't have anybody here right now to assist me in this, so it just has to happen the way it is. What I'll do is I'll take the individual magnets and put them on the branches in different spots. The way I build my cages, I like to give them, the chameleons, 3 levels to choose from. This is good because up top they get the, you know, the basking area and all the UVB. It varies on each cage size, that's for sure. Okay, it definitely does. If you have an 18 by 18 by 36, even 16 by 16 by 20, you know, 18 by 18 by 36, it gets 3 levels, but only gets 3 branches, you know, from back to front, across. Obviously this is bigger, so it gets more. And you can, now let me show you just so you know you don't get confused later. So now I have these branches in here, okay, that are going from back to front. And as you can see right here, what I've done is I've put a magnet down there. It's just a freestanding magnet, and it's sticking to that, okay? Like I said, I put the magnet on it, it sticks. Same thing on the back. As you can see, that's connected by a magnet. Now, the great thing about this is, you know, like I said, I do this kind of level, and each one gets its own level like that, but these can be moved now at your will, okay? Unless the chameleon is super, super heavy, he's really not going to, like, you know, he's not going to, that's me doing that with my hand like a big blug. He's not going to roll, you know, like people would think. It's taking a lot of my hand strength for me to make this roll right now, to move. You know, but even if it rolls, it doesn't go far. It just kind of, that's it, and that's it, because these magnets are so strong. You know, you can hear them when they hit back down on each other. If that avenue comes up where the chameleon is too heavy, at that point you would take 2 of these, put them sideways next to each other, and put the 2 magnets in the middle, and it would become a double branch, and it wouldn't be able to roll. But cost effectively, you're using single branches. You know, double branches would be for things like oscillats or pARSON'S or anything like that. Again, I'm going to put you back up here, and I'm going to finish this to show you the finished product. Now, again, what's really great about all this is that the cleanliness of it. You know, it's been every chameleon keeper's nightmare when their chameleon gets sick, because no one really has, you know, so much experience with, oh, how did they get an infection? How did they get this? And with these, it's just in and out. You can bleach it when you're done. You can spray it with chloromum, whatever the hell the blue stuff is. You can spray it with that. Chromahex or whatever. I don't know what it's called, but I know it's blue. And it does a hell of a job. And again, they just click right onto the magnets. You could put them, I'm going to do some that are sideways now so you can see that, you know, you could just put it in any position that you want to do it. Normally I'd use like a zoom ed vine to connect all the levels. It's out in the car right now and I'm not going to get it. I'll take a picture or something and add that to the video later on to show the finished product of how good it can honestly look. Because your avenues are endless now. You know, you can manipulate your cage any way you want. I also have misting things where, let's say you're using like something crappy like the monsoon, and you made the mistake of buying the monsoon, which is a mistake. I have individual pieces that are small that you can, like a little piece of this branch that's only like that big, and you mount the misting nozzle to it, and then 2 magnets click it in place somewhere so you can position the misting nozzle anywhere in the cage. You know, so even though you have to, kind of put a hole in the cage, you're still not bound by anything. You can go anywhere and do anything with it. Okay? And that's the good thing about this. So again, here you go. As you can see, they can be moved. They can go wherever, and they're solid, left to right. Oh, you want it over here? It's over there now. You want it over there? It's over there. You want a space down the middle for a tree or branch or anything to come up? That's it. These branches are sold by me individually, or I do full interior setups for the cages and can be mailed. They're not expensive at all to ship, so the shipping is reasonable. Everything about it. Now I will take a second here just to show you, if you can see it in here. I know it's dark in here because the lights are off, but you can see that that's acrylic. I sanded acrylic rod, and I did the same principles, and I used acrylic. Sanding the acrylic gets very tedious, however it looks very good, and it's another very clean thing to use that you can also bleach or chlorohex or whatever the hell that stuff is called. Another good thing about this cage is that with the ability to move the branches wherever you want, you can put the vines and everything wherever you want, and you can decorate it and doll it up. Everything is basically at your will. Like I said, I never really put anything below or on the floor except for, usually it's paper towels. Preference would be what they use in hospital beds. They call it a bed mat. It's rubber on the bottom, but it's like a very super absorbent on top. It's like a gigantic maxi pad, to be honest with you. And that right there is something very good to have on the bottom of your chameleon cage, because then nothing, gets through that bed mat onto your floor, so you don't have bacteria or feces or mold or anything being on the bottom of it. Again, it's very accessible, very easy to use. As you saw before, magnets on the outside hold its position. I can sit here and put pressure on it. It's not going anywhere unless I put a lot of pressure on it, like that, which is, you can't, you know, you can look at my arm muscle kind of flexing when I'm doing that to exert energy to move it. So you know, you could see that that's a lot. I don't have a little chimpanzee right now, and I definitely don't think I'm going to wake up one of my chameleons right now to put one on to show you, but I can guarantee you that they hold a considerable amount of weight. And then once later on, I'll put the zoom ed vine, or you could put any kind of vine you want to connect the levels. They really appreciate the 3 levels because up there it's hot, in the middle it's medium. When they want to cool off, they go down here, they have their dark spot in the corner, or whatever it is. I highly recommend the back left corner of the cage being where all the vegetation is, and make sort of a hut that comes from the 3rd floor down to the 2nd floor and halfway down to the 1st floor. The misting nozzle probably would be best on the front right corner, aimed at the vegetation on the left, so that the mist hits that thing and has this 2 tiers, 3 tiers to drip down on, so that the lizard has the option to drink at every level. I always use Arcadia lights. Arcadia lighting is the best lighting I have ever owned. It has made a full circle turnaround in all of my chameleons' health, their breeding, their activity, their colors, their appetites, and everything. Even in the wintertime with the shift, they do amazingly. And so if you need to get in touch with me, my name is Jaysick. My email is jaysick@gmail.com. My phone number is 973-563-9097 if you need to get in touch with me. I'm just going to show you guys really quick that I can do this on small scale as well. These are my 16 by 16 by 20s. This is my female, who are you? Oh, this is my female Simbava. A lot of females over here on the rack, you know, they're all in there. As you can see, she's resting on the rod nicely. If you look into the interior here, it is also rubber coated, and there is a magnet right there on the outside holding that out. And it's even, you know, as you can see, it's an even smaller, much more smaller rod and a much more smaller magnet, and it's holding this little fatty up there just fine. You can see the misting nozzle there. You can see the vegetation on the back left also going up to the front. They really enjoy that because they can hide from the light. They get their water drip down to them, and it's just a highlight. That's what they really enjoy. As you can see on the bottom here, there's feces, but that's onto the paper towel, so I do not have to worry on the pad and the paper towel. It's a very clean setup, a very easy setup. I hope you guys can follow my lead with this, and you know, better care for your chameleons and better care for the keeper. All right. Once again, I am Jaysick, and thank you all very much for listening.